In the last episode, we talked about spoken production. Just simply producing words. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you everything about spoken interaction. I'm talking about speaking in conversation with other people. Spoken interaction basically refers to any communicative act in which two or more people are exchanging information. It can take many forms, like a casual chat, a formal discussion, a debate, an argument, an interview, or a negotiation.
Welcome to Confidently Speaking, the podcast that'll get you to fall in love with your own version of English.
In spoken interaction, there is no clear structure. Just think back to the last conversation you had. How did it go? Smoothly? Badly? Basically, the speakers in an interaction construct the conversation together. They listen, respond, put forward ideas, and work together to communicate. A number of factors can determine how well the conversation goes. Your motivation, who you're speaking to, where you are, and the time of day, your physical and mental state, at the time of speaking, of course, and how the other people feels. Now, on top of that, paralinguistic elements such as body language, voice pitch, and tone of voice can also affect the conversation. Now, there are several interesting features of spoken interaction. These include hesitation, silences, overlapping, when both speakers, of course, talk at the same time. We also talk about repetition, mumbling, and of course, non-standard English, and errors even. And even errors, right? Now, the use of conversational fillers is also common. What in the world are conversational fillers, you may be asking? Well, these include words and expressions such as, like, and which don't really mean anything, but which are designed to fill space, or maybe allow the speaker to hold the floor while they think a little bit about what they're gonna say. Now, finally, in spoken interaction, very few people speaking grammatically correct and complete sentences. Let's take a look at one example, okay? I want you to take a look at this. I'm going to be playing both sides of this conversation, of course, but just listen how it goes. One voice will be this, and the other one will be this. So, try not to laugh or to call me names. Right? So here we go. So, the other day I was walking down the street. Oh yeah. I was cycling, and there's two people, and they're like looking at me, yeah, and like I tried to. During the interaction, the speakers are using both receptive and productive skills. They're listening and speaking at the same time. The key right here is listening. Your ability to understand what is being said. This doesn't mean understanding every word. In fact, in many cases, people won't be speaking very clearly at all. We already talked about mumbling, right? So the most important thing is to capture the meaning of what the other person is trying to say. In other words, in order for you to do this, all you have to do is know about the keys to English pronunciation, particularly all about connected speech and word and sentence stress. One more time. Connected speech, word stress, and sentence stress. The most important thing to remember is that English is a stress-timed language and that only keywords are stressed. Usually these are nouns and verbs, right? So most of the other words are not pronounced so clearly. We call them reductions. right? So you need to be able to listen out for these and then try to use this information to work out what the speaker is trying to say. Now, of course, in upcoming episodes, we're going to be talking about stress, rhythm, intonation, and all of that. But, suffice it to say that all of this will actually help you. Once you understand how it works in the English language, you'll be golden. So, when it comes to participating in the conversation, you can actually get by with very little. In conversation, we use a lot of fixed expressions. Some are designed to show that you're, following things like, yeah, right. Of course. I know. Oh, tell me about it. You're joking, right? Others are used as a way of encouraging or supporting the speaker or as a way of showing sympathy. Oh, I know what you mean. Oh, you can say that again. Really? I know the feeling. Been there, done that. And what was that? Who said that? Participating in spoken interaction is never easy, especially when it involves native speakers, because for some reason, and just like we've spoken in previous episodes, we tend to put them up on a pedestal. Why do we do that? I don't know. We are native speakers of a language, and you don't see people who are learning our native languages put us on a pedestal, right? So why do we put people who speak English on a pedestal? Something interesting to analyze, right? So remember, right? The key is to just try to keep up and follow the conversation as best you can. Of course, the higher your level, the easier it'll be. But remember, it's not 100% necessary that you understand every single word that's being uttered if you know that, English is really nice in this aspect, right? Because, in English, we stress the most important words in sentences. And grammatical words, what we call function words, are just reduced. So once you become familiar with this pattern that, the most important, the meaningful words will be emphasized, just listen out for those. And then you'll be able to work out the meaning that, much more easily. So when you feel comfortable, of course, you can use one of the fixed expressions, right? Or even contribute to the conversation, right? With a story or maybe with a comment, right? So remember, you got to be brave. You got to be bold. And above all, you also got to be quick, because speaking is actually, the hardest skill because of this. You have to think about grammar. You have to think about vocabulary. You have to think about registry. Is it formal, informal? You have to think about pronunciation. You have to think about all of these things. And, the cherry on top is that you just have a couple of seconds. Right? So, there's no way around it. It's practice, 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 as I always say. So thank you very much for your attention. As always, I'm pretty sure you guys did a great job at listening to what I was saying. Remember that I would really, really appreciate it if you left a comment for this episode on Spotify, or find me on my social media and let me know what you thought of this episode, because, hey, I'm just restarting, with the order and with the commitment to post every week on Saturdays. I chose Saturdays at 10. No, hold on. No, it wasn't 9 a.m. to be posting episodes, because I found out that posting on Sundays in the evening wasn't as hot. So probably switching up to Saturdays in the morning will give you some time to listen to the episodes Saturday morning, right? So, hey, let me know what you think about that. So once again, guys, this has been Frank Chavira. You can find me as English with Frank on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, X, everywhere as English with Frank. Thank you once again for your attention, and I'll see you next week. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.